Well, finally back here. Welcome to another video on this channel. Today I'm back in 1000 Week Reich to play as China. This time, however, we will not be unifying China, since, I mean, you see it, right? No. We will be transforming our cool new democracy into a dictatorship under the Generalissimo Chiang Kai-shek. So let's head in. And here we are in 1000 Week Reich with the Republic of China. Now, in this timeline, the nationalists were victorious in the Chinese Civil War, pushing the communists out of China. What remains of the Communist Party is located in Calcutta, led by General Secretary Liu Shaoji and Foreign Secretary and Vice Chairman Zhao Enlai. We will have to deal with these remnants because, well, they may be beaten, but they are not defeated. We are still suffering from a communist insurgency, and if their influence grows too much, they will restart the civil war. So we have to be careful with that. But we can also deal with them, for example, with a decapitation strike. But China has democratized under pressure from the democratic opposition and the United States. However, Chiang Kai-shek still rules unopposed due to the KMT, basically, you can see it, having enough seats to push through whatever this guy wants. Though, because our party is so big, we have different cliques inside the party, and we have to be careful to keep our party unity high. If our party unity decreases too much, factions might splinter from the party, so this is very important to keep in mind. But the biggest problem of all is that we are still recovering from the civil war. We have rural reconstruction, we have receding famine, so incomplete land reforms. It's not that great. The biggest problem of all of these is the bureaucratic incompetence. The KMT is notorious for its high corruption levels and favoritism towards certain party members, and we have to deal with it. How do we deal with that? Well, with this focus tree right there. Let us begin with the renewal of the New Life movement to strengthen our one-party democracy. We start with a big army, but we don't really have anything to fight right now. We are currently occupying the north of Vietnam under the friendly regime here, but our occupation will end as soon as I start the game. Currently we are number 5 in GDP ranking. Yeah, GDP per capita is abysmal. So yeah, let's just build some civilian factories. Yeah, and let's just begin with this research. This will be the starting production line, mainly to cover, the equipment we're missing. Other than that, we have a permanent seat in the Security Council of the United Nations, meaning we can veto whatever we don't like, and it will be vetoed. Such a good system, man. But anyway, let us begin. Yup, and our military mission in Vietnam ends. Let's welcome home the peacekeepers. And now they're on their own, kinda. Well, let us begin with reforming the Promotion Association, which will reduce the cost of this decision right here, so we're not gonna click that right now. And we're gonna do the New Life Movement Act, trying to get this one passed. And now we're gonna click this one. And the legislation has been passed, adopted. Well, by now we can establish the New Life Institute, but we need political power for that. But the Mongolian civilian government fails. Let's tell Fu to brace for impact. The Mongolian authority requests resistance. As an uprising, so let's send additional manpower. The China Youth Corps? Well, let's form it for the party. Alright, let us establish the New Life Institute now, which will give us more support towards Dangguo. And because we have apparently enough command power, let's start infiltrating Calcutta. Let's do reforms in the central bank to get down here and reform our problems. And now with 90 political power, let us reactivate the Bie Dong Zongdui to move further to Dangguo. Well, Mongolia fell to the Reds. Yeah, let's retake it eventually. I need political power. Well, this sucks. Well, let us choose a New Life movement theme, and let's go for the civilian affairs to get the balance of power and more political power. By the way, we have enough army experience, so let us get the professional officer corps for the daily command power again, because some of our decisions want command power, so making it easier to get. Up, the 7th National Congress of the Kuomintang has opened. Ever since the implementation of the Constitution, Chiang Kai-shek has pursued more proactive reforms on the Kuomintang to improve its credibility and competitiveness as a party. So now, many delegates expected this Congress will lead to the announcement of the completion of said reforms. Well, as they had gathered, the opening ceremony began with the party's iconic formality, recite the Premier's will. First report of the CRC. Well, the reports have come in of the Central Rectification Committee, the CRC, which oversees and drastically reforms the Kuomintang. The first report was delivered in a speech by Chen Cheng. He reaffirmed the party's commitment to democracy and tribalism and also detailed the implementation of stricter party membership standards that have resulted in hundreds of membership revocations, ensuring that corrupted and low-quality members will be swiftly removed to preserve party integrity. There's also an incident with Chen Cheng and Chiang Cheng-ko, showing that their relationship might be a bit complicated, but we're just overthinking it. The second report of the CRC, which was Chiang Cheng-ko's speech. His speech was emphasizing that the KMT had more and more members from all over the society, which of course he emphasized labor reforms and misconduct by certain party members. And while his speech, well, Chiang Cheng looked annoyed. We've reached this stage, so now democratic activism is no longer there. But the last reports were smaller and less important than the first two, so they are glossed over here. Well, some of the last reforms were the creation of the Central Review Committee of the Kuomintang, which is now headed by Zhu Jiahua, which has sparked some controversy with some of the existing party members, but they were strong-armed into accepting this proposal. This will now create a new minor faction within the party. These are important steps of a modern party. Dihua race rights. Well, but first we were fine with Sheng Shikai ruling over Xinjiang. However, now countryside unrest has finally spilled over into Dihua, causing an incident that he was finally unable to cover up. Many have grown dissatisfied with him, so now is a great chance to get rid of him. So, let's do that. Get rid of this madman already. And now the closing of the National Congress. Thank God that it's over. Appointing a new governor for Xinjiang. Let us appoint Burhan Zahedi to get political power. Behind closed doors, Free China Journal. An article offered by Jin Haiguang in the Free China Journal has been basically slandering the KMT. They say the Kuomintang is an old party riddled with unreconcilable factionalism. It is known that the Free China Journal caters towards the rich or middle-class liberal intellectuals, so we don't mind it that much, as it is not as popular as other medias. However, the non-party affiliated publications and the opposition parties have latched onto this information. Now we have to react quickly to try and get rid of some of these problems we have. Well, land to the tiller. Let's do another New Life movement theme, yet again the civilian affairs one. Well, the Hong Kong Agreement. Let us sign the treaty. All right, continued reorganization of the party now. Sun Fu's reheated scandal. Well, looks like Sun Fu has yet again screwed up due to a dispute between Lan Ni and Yan Aijuan, as Aijuan, Sun Fu's other mistress, is currently having a dispute with Lan Ni over hush money distributed by Sun Fu. Now, this alone is it not really that scandalous to make a big deal. However, the Central Club Aligned newspaper has spun a story that allegedly the gold bars involved were confiscated from the Wang Jingwei regime, painting Sun Fu as an adultering ambassador. Now, well, this is not great, and many are calling for his resignation. However, let's just brush it aside for now. Well, and now Hong Kong has returned to our fold. However, it is on an autonomous status and gives the British still a lot of rights within the city. However, the city is ours. Alright, let us try and increase our KMT unity so that that will not be a problem in the future. Why don't we pressure Portugal to give us Macau back? And let's also begin removing some of the warlord factions that are still here in the country. Well, let's start by getting rid of the Shaanxi clique. Alright, let's liberate Macau. And they have agreed to hand it over. Great. Well, the more unity the better. Let's revitalize the countryside. Alright, let's uproot the Guangxi clique. Oh, another clique bites the dust. Well, the 1954 Legislative Yuan election, and our majority will remain, as you can see, a display of democracy. Yeah, I don't know what's my next move. Well, let us do new rural scholarship. Oh, so that's what it does. Okay, I suppose military scholarship. Why not? It's there for 30 days. That's very much a waste of political power. Well, the 1954 presidential elections have been held, and of course another term for Chang. Alright, with the presidential elections now concluded, how about we do to rule 1,000 more, which will unlock amending the constitution, reverting some of the democratic policies we've done. Alright, more cliques to get rid of. Welp, amending the constitution. 3 members of the National Assembly walked onto the stage, presenting the Assembly Presidium with an urgent proposal. On the stack of paper, a few hundred signatures from other Kuomintang members or independents of the National Assembly were prominently displayed, each supporting the contents of its draft. A few pages after the signature, the title and executive summary of this drafted proposal read: Constitutional Amendment Drafted Proposal, the abolishment of presidential term limits. Term limits on the chopping board. Protect the Constitution! Telegraph to the whole nation, defend the Constitution! Stop the dictator Chiang Kai-shek from assuming total control! Defend our democracy, defend our Constitution! The opposition was quick. And now the final clique will be destroyed. Oh, and by the way, this also decreases the balance of power here, which I almost forgot about. So let us do another civilian affair theme for the New Life movement. Well, the amendment has been passed, a democratic decision. And now the new Dang Guo. Stability must be paramount. Order restored. Great, great. Well, development above all. Let us now try and retake Mongolia. Oh, well guys, one more KMT asset needed in Calcutta to decapitate them. Oh, the China Democratic League disbands. The end to the coalition. Cult of personality. Well, then our invasion begins, so let's march forth. Aggressively. Generalissimo for life. He guides us all. Wan Sui. And now anti-communist constitution. And that should be it for Mongolia. Goodbye. You will not be missed. Should have stayed with me. I don't know what I don't know why you did this, man. It's uncool. Well, and now we complete our invasion mission, and now just this one time here, and afterwards we can do the decapitation strike since we have 10 assets collected. Well, let us expand Nanjing, which will take a while. And let's also do the construction of the new UNHQ in Shanghai, since we have voted on it and it was accepted. And I did not see the decision beforehand. But yeah, it's gonna be right here. An anti-communist constitution. Well, we have done another constitutional amendment, the constitutionalization of anti-communist principles. We can now basically try and categorize and prosecute entities tied to the Communist Party, and all their collaborators will also be handled. Whoop, into now one-party guided democracy. Nanjing Democracy Conference. We are all friends here. And now His Excellency President Chang. Welp, it is time for a decapitation strike. Explosion in Calcutta. Earlier today, a powerful explosion rocked the Chinese quarters in Calcutta. Dozens were killed and many more were wounded as a result. While this event was definitely a tragedy, the location of the explosion and its yield have led to the swift conclusion that this was an act of sabotage, a precise explosion that has been able to take out the bulk of the Communist Party of China's exile leadership at once. And we strike now. CPC destroyed. Our efforts to fully crush the communists have finally bear fruits. With most cells uprooted by law enforcement, we have managed to fully decapitate their entire insurgent leadership. Without coherent leadership, the communists have divided themselves into dozens insignificant cells, effectively killing their delusions of becoming irrelevant ever again. The Red Menace is gone for good. Well, let us begin a national reconstruction project. Well, time to ban some political parties. Well, we have to address our labor relations. Let us appoint Chang Cheng-kuo. The UN Shanghai headquarters have been completed. A fine new building. Oh damn, it's even on the map. Well, it starts with Shanghai. Shanghai's next direction. Chang Ching-kuo has made a speech in Shanghai. Years ago, I was honored to be able to help in controlling inflation in Shanghai. But today, I stand here with a different message. We hear you, common people. We believe until these exploiters, evil capitalists, heartless businessmen are defeated, the Shanghai people would never have prosperity. These capitalists have two weapons. One is collusion with the bureaucrats, and second is spreading lies and falsehoods. But we wholeheartedly believe that we will conquer these conditions and defeat these enemies of Shanghai's prosperity. Little Chang is back with new goals. Well, let us begin the second industrial 5-year plan. And now we will have to deal with the corruption in Shanghai. Well, let's establish the public report offices and form a Greater Shanghai Youth League. A day in Shanghai, a young manager of a factory approached Chang Ching-kuo, airing the usual grievances concerning factory corruption and exploitative practices. As Chang was about to leave, he spoke to him one last time. Sir, I sincerely hope that what you are doing is truly for the benefit of the proletariat. Please let the thoughts of me and my colleagues be more than simple and naive dreams. The day will come, comrade. The public report offices have been established, and now people can write anonymous reports regarding corruption and exploitation. No tolerance for corruption. Special economic officers from Nanjing. And now let us investigate the municipal government. Officials summoned. There are rampant corruption reports in most of the municipal departments, and this is outrageous. Oop, they were not pleased. Let's sponsor local labor unions. United Association of Chinese Laborers endorsements. The workers are important, of course. Officers from Nanjing, let's get to work. And the oath ceremony. Well, down with exploitative capitalists. Well, looks like war has broken out in Vietnam, and now there are demands for a direct military intervention in Vietnam to crush the communist menace. Well, the government is behind them. Go ahead. By popular demand, we have our mandate. China announces intervention. We will help our brothers in Vietnam. Reports from the HQ. Well, it seems there is a lot of corruption in the police department. Well, let us strike from the top. Anti-communist aid Vietnam. High bureaucrats arrested. Down with big tigers. To President Chang. Well, the government in Shanghai is not happy about Chang Ching-kuo's actions. Well, let's request a report. Dear father, well, Chang Ching-kuo is promising that he's doing it for the greater good. Well, let's demand that he negotiates with Wu. A meeting in Shanghai Club. Well, the mayor Wu Kuo-chen is offering Chang a compromise solution so that both sides can be happy, since the Shanghai municipal government does not like Chang's radicalism. However, Chang said, I am not an enemy of the people, mayor. He has refused. A Shanghai struggle. Bring it on. Well, let's enforce labor standards. And let us now investigate the criminal enterprise. A war on the underworld, rotten to the core. Well, of course the government no longer really supports us. But it doesn't matter. We don't need them anyway. Du Weiping arrested. He is the son of Du Yusheng. And he has been found guilty and sentenced 12 years in prison due to misconduct and corruption. Well, the people will be saved. Du Yusheng. We have met with Du Yusheng and he surprisingly agreed with Chang's statement that Du Weiping deserved his punishment. However, now he has raised concerns about the Yangtze Company, and he claims that he is more than willing to support Chang's crusade against the Yangtze Company. The Yangtze Company? Huh, interesting. Well, let's investigate the petty capitalists. A chat with the elites. We're all patriotic here, right? Monitoring local activities. Keep a close eye on the misdeeds. Little tyrant. Looks like the capitalists and liberal party have initiated media attacks against Chang Ching-kuo and his campaign. The capitalists have mobilized the media machine. Let's cut down the NRC. Labor situation report. From Investigation Team HQ to Commissioner Chang Ching-kuo. Subject: Summary of commercial corruption and labor situation. Close inspections have revealed high concentration of commercial malpractice and exploitative labor practices in local enterprises. Certain corporations are abusing their personal connections to higher-ranking officials in order to dodge regulations from the central government. Attached is a detailed list of findings and data gathered. Outrageous! Mobilize the people. Well, with that we have broken our pact with Wu Kuo-chen, but it doesn't matter. State corporatism. As the citizens of Shanghai marched up and down the streets, the wild civil society of Shanghai, city life has seemingly been incorporated by Changqing Corps. Mass organizations and groups have become tools of assuring the success of this campaign. And stay down. Welp, time to finally investigate the Kong assets. The Yangtze Company. Yangtze Company exposed! Well, we have a lot of evidence now against the Yangtze Company. On top of the extravagant corruption, it is also claimed that the company owned and operated by the influential Kung family, while also holding multiple exclusive import permits from the state, is also speculated to be a major factor behind a looming cost of living crisis in Shanghai. Well, the biggest tiger of them all. Yangtze Company raided. Confiscate these ill-gotten goods. Well, the Control Yuan auditors have arrived and told Chang that his actions will be lodged and reported to Nanjing. Welcome, comrades. Kung Song connections. Well, Song Meiling, the wife of Chiang Kai-shek, is heading to Shanghai to put a halt to Chiang Ching-kuo's investigation into the Yangtze Company due to the Song family having deep ties with the Kungs. Song Meiling planned a hasty visit to her stepson. Song Meiling lands in Shanghai. Welcome. Mother's words. She's demanding to cease the investigation into the Yangtze Company. However, everyone is equal before the law. Kung Ling Kan arrested. Multiple corruption charges. Urgent message from Nanjing. A direct order from his father, the President of the Republic of China, President Chiang Kai-shek. Chiang is demanding that he puts a stop to the investigations. He respects his enthusiasm, but he reminded him that the Kung family has been encountering unfair judgment from the misleading media. After reading these messages, Chiang Ching-kuo replied with, "Justice is blind. Triumph over the Magic City." The once corrupted Magic City Shanghai has been fully tamed by Chiang Ching-kuo's tireless work. It is without a doubt that with this successful campaign, Chiang Ching-kuo's work in Shanghai will serve as an example for the rest of the country to follow. Today, Shanghai. Tomorrow, the whole of China. Great. We've now dealt with a lot of the bureaucratic incompetence. Well, India has invaded Nepal, and not great for them, is it? Song Meiling leaves for America. It is unknown how long she will stay away, but rumors suggest that she plans to stay abroad for an indefinite amount of time, in spite of Chiang's protests. Well, have a safe journey. I'm just forcing my way through here, man. This is so... I hate if I can't just attack from one tile to another. It's so pain, man. Finally. Oh my god. This took forever. Alright, Vietnam has been secured. Kinda. Ish. I mean, they still exist, but the Northern Vietnam Liberation Front has been squashed. Did they now start an all-out war, or we're just gonna have peace? Yay, peace. I love peace. Escalation in Vietnam. Now they are in full-on war, so our intervention does not stop. Our British no challenge at all. Up, let's deal with the Tibetan problem. And yep, southern Vietnam is conquered. Now there's only one Vietnam. A Vietnam more closely aligned to us. We're now in a semi-industrialized economy. Oh my god, that's huge because minus 15 research speed. Didn't like that one. Well, time to battle the negotiations, whatever. I'm not gonna invade, that would be too easy, man. Okay, honestly, fuck this minigame. This is not going anywhere, man. I hate when, like, it's just, like, chance stuff down there. It actually pisses me off. Let me at least, like, do something to increase it, okay? Hey, we can now do rural modernization. So let's do that. My god, man. Just put the war in the bag, man. Yep, way easier. Why didn't I do this? Why did I just not do this immediately, man? Why did I just not do this immediately, man? Finally, a border with these fuckers. Well, let's send a garrison to Upper Mustang, because we can finally do that. Let us create the Nanjing Pact. Let us invite our comrades here that we can. Yeah, that's all right now. But time to purge new political science. we no longer require them. We have enough influence within Sikkim, so let us press this decision to guarantee them. I think we can also now invite them after having put them into our influence, so let us add, where's the fucking diplomacy shit? Day pass, let the game register that, and yep, there it is. Nanjing expanded, a marvelous city, great. Alright, time to finally get rid of rural reconstruction, or like finish the rural reconstruction. And we have formed the Sunmin International. Great. I'm doing border wars against India, just for fun. Well, just did the border war here, and yeah, mine now. We can do the same with Tenutuba, by the way. But I need supplies first. Alright, let us liberate Tanutuba via border war. Oh, that was easy. Let us also now revise the unequal treaties, and yeah, let's claim all of it. And now let us liberate Chimunyochi. Oh, the tank could be a problem. Tanks could be a problem. The tanks are problems. Might have to buy it now. Otherwise, are we blocked out of that then? Yeah, we are blocked out of our liberate Russian occupied lands. The declaration of war, basically. No hard feelings, Russia, right? No hard feelings, right? It's just gonna, you know, it's just gonna give it to me, right? Yeah, it's just gonna give it to me. Let us now begin our attack on the Russians. Never mind, I can no longer attack them. Wait, what the fuck? Is this decision really gone? Is it telling me I have to own this, but the moment I own this it disappears? Really? Wait, I'm not blind, am I? Oh well, is that really it then? Well, I suppose that's it then. Yeah, that's all there's to do now, I guess. I reformed the country, everything, and yeah. Took some land here and there, and that's basically it. I can also take more, but I really can't be bothered with this now. It's annoying with the border wars, having to win 5 of them. I feel it didn't even count my other victory when I start the event again, I think. Yes, and this is just, you know, doing all these things here is just gonna take years. And yeah, but yeah, I will end it here now, and I hope you enjoyed it, and please like, subscribe, leave a comment, and see you next time. Goodbye. Glory to the Generalissimo.